monster you gotta be drunk to see.
Party on, Garth.
Dean. It's here.
Hello and welcome to Gank
That
Drink,
drink.
a supernatural drinking game podcast. I am one of your hosts, Krissy Lenz, director of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. And with me, as always, is
Nate McWhorter, a performer and teacher and other things at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona, and also a co-host of this podcast. And what podcast is it, Krissy? What are we? What are we doing here?
We are Gankin' and Drinkin'. We are a supernatural drinking game podcast where each season we choose a theme of episodes and we each make our picks, and then we assign each other drinking game rules. We play along, we recap, we play a game. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And the theme for this season is it might be a possible favorites. It might be your favorite episode. So
it just might be your favorite.
This was your choice.
Yes. This is my choice. This is episode Season 7, episode 18. Aired on March 30th. 2012. It's called Party On Garth.
Yeah.
And I, as a child of the late 90s and early 2000s, which I know you're going to say is too late for this film, love the movie. Wayne's World is a seminal movie in my adolescence. And
I don't think so, because I was in high school in the 90s, and so 80s movies were my 90s picks, so it makes sense to me that 90s movies would be your aughts and tens.
Yeah, for sure. And like this, it was like this, Bill and Ted, and probably, and then weirdly like School of Rock, which was like a modern movie, but snuck in right at the perfect time for me age wise. And so anyway, Party On Garth. This is supernatural. And this was my episode, so I came up with the drinking rules.
Yep. Which are,
and are we going to get into those? These are the drinking rules, also spoilers and all that, all the usual stuff that always accompanies these episodes. Our drinking rules.
Season 7 was like 2015, so like I don't feel bad.
No, not at all. The first one is anyone drinks. Take a sip or a drink, depending on how froggy you are wanting to get, or foggy. And then rule number 2, I call it classic Garth. And classic Garth has a couple interpretations. I was interpreting it basically as like, anytime you just have kind of like a classic Garth moment, or the boys look like they're having that like classic Garth, or like, you drink when you feel it. That was like a feel for one. And I do that as 2 drinks because I felt like that might not have happened a whole lot. However,
and we'll have to discuss that one as we.
Yeah, we will, for sure. For sure, going to be discussed. The next one is someone dies. And of course, you drink 2 times if it is someone that you knew the name of. Then our next rule is pop culture reference. After that, there's 1 drink for pop culture reference, and then 1 drink for is it Bobby? And then there's a couple expert level rules I threw in there, again depending on how foggy or froggy you're willing to get. I call it the Party On Garth rule, which is when Garth chugs, you chug.
I also think we should add an all-time rule, which is like anytime you're ever playing, if someone says balls, you have to
balls.
Okay,
drink. Yes.
Anytime.
I agree. It's like the Sammy rule.
Yeah.
Balls. Yes. Agree. Because as I rewatched it today, I was like, man, I really should have done a balls rule as well. An idjit and a balls. Anyway, we got it. You get it both. Spoilers. Anyway, and then the last rule, of course, expert level, is I call it the Bobby shot, which I just think is funny to say. The Bobby shot, which of course comes at the end, but we'll talk about that. So, Party On Garth.
Now, if you're drinking to classic Garth moments, and then it really comes down to like if you include the then or you include, or
Right.
you don't include it and you start when the episode starts, because they're like
I
the whole then is classic
is
Garth.
Garth moments, right? So I basically counted then as just like one, because it's just a montage of Garth moments. So I was like, all right, that's one moment of like classic Garth,
I
because we're just
counted it as
seeing.
5.
You counted as 5, awesome. So I can, yours is going to be higher than mine. That's exciting. I like that. So I just counted the whole then as 1, because yes, it's chock full. I think there was another rule that happened in the then, but I thought I wrote it down, but apparently not. I have 2 different books based on 2 different watchings.
All
So this is fun. You're gonna hear
right.
pages flipping in the background. All right, so Party on Garth. We open with a bunch of children, or like supposed to be children, because it's Hollywood and they're like
Teens.
21, but they're supposed to be 16. And they're all in the woods, and they're all telling ghost stories. They're telling the legend of Jenny Greentree, that, as we all know, is just some unhoused lady who was murdered in the woods
Yep.
and came back to revenge or something like that.
It's a
It
very,
doesn't
very
matter.
Blair Witchy.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of Blair Witch vibes. We're out here having a good time. Our tents are unzipped, which bothered me. I don't know why, but like bugs. Anyway, it's these
Oh, I would think
unzipped.
murderers. You don't want
Oh
murderers getting
yeah,
in there.
I mean yeah,
Or
but
bugs.
it's
Or bugs.
or bugs is what I was thinking of. Anyway, so the brother of one of the kids around the campfire stumbles in hammered. He's just drunk,
So
and
drunk.
he's just going on or off about whatever. And the brother starts confronting him, and it says, "Why don't you just go?" And that's, "Why don't you tell Dad?" It's brothers fighting brothers. Drunk brother wanders off because he's like, not wanders off, he runs off because he's like, "Oh my gosh, you see that?" Runs
Something.
off.
Yeah, he sees something
There's something
scary
out
that no one
there, but
else
like
can
we don't
see.
know what it is. No one else can see it. And then all of a sudden he's like murdered, and we hear the scream, and then the others go investigate, and now it's time for Belle Biv DeVoe.
Bill Big Vote. Now you know.
The best entrance. I love it so much. Also, for the sake of needing to count a rule in this rule, because it was not a good one, I counted that anytime you hear that song as a pop culture reference, because
Oh, okay. I did not.
they had to pay for it.
They
That's the
did.
only reason. I'm like, they had to
But
pay
it's
for it. I'm counting it
perfect.
as a rule.
It's a perfect song for him though, because it's like, it seems like it's cool, but it's actually pretty dorky. But
Right.
it's like, it's its own thing. So it's perfect for Garth, who I love.
Yes.
Love Garth.
And it is a very, very, very subtle hint. And I love it as this episode goes on. Garth is dropping some very subtle hints about his arc. They're really like planting these little seedlets for Garth's arc that we're going to have coming throughout, which is great because you have him calling home in the hot tub. I can't wait to get in the hot tub with you.
Yeah.
And then you have there's there's a line later on in the episode that he says something about his special lady friend.
Yeah.
And they're like, lady friend.
Well, and that's one thing that I love, that Supernatural will like give us these dorky characters, you know, or these like sidekick characters, but like they have fantastic lives. Like Garth is never sad or lesser than. They treat him like that. Like they're awful mean to him, but like Garth has his own shit going on, and
Yeah.
he's not jealous, he's not insecure. You know, and the same thing is true of Charlie. Like they've got
Correct.
they're really their own people, so I love it.
Yes, and like and then Benny, and then you got like Meg. Anyway, I do love that, and that all the side characters, even the more even intense ones that you get. Like, anyway, we could go on and on forever. So that was all right. Where are we at?
So
Oh yes,
Garth,
we're just in the woods.
yeah, Garth ganks
Garth,
Jenny
takes
Greentree.
care of Jenny Greentree, and he says, "You just got Garthed." So like, I count that. I don't know. I counted that as a classic Garth moment.
Of course,
just
I did
him
too.
being a dork by himself. Is like, yes, of course he is. He's doing that. You just got Garth. So he takes care of her, and then the next night or later that night or in the day, whatever. It's not super clear,
Like
I guess.
immediately after, basically, the other brother gets trashed and also dies.
Correct. He's like getting drunk and he's like, what? And then the monster gets him, the invisible monster that we can't see, gets him. So now we have 2 deaths, someone dies. We knew both their names, Trevor and Ray. So we're at 4 drinks on that one. And then it's Garth is all upset because he hears the call come over the radio and he says, I Garthed her. And this is when he calls Dean. Dean, who just gets off the phone with Meg. For wherever we're at in season 7. That's all
in the whatever. Like wherever we're at in season 7.
Wherever we're at.
Who cares? We don't care about that.
Does not matter.
Don't care. This is a monster of the week.
Absolutely.
And
so and Garth is like, I'm in Junction City, Kansas, which it's just this is random and it's going to be a little bit of a bummer, and I'm sorry. And I'm only going to spotlight our location one thing this week. Junction City, Kansas. The only reason it jumped out is because this week I literally was in Oklahoma City and went to the Oklahoma City Memorial. And that was the city they rented the Ryder truck from, was Junction City, Kansas. So it just was weirdly, like, the weird timing of that popped out to me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Very weird.
But you gotta snap along here, bud.
We're
not even.
I'm sorry.
We're not even together with Garth yet.
We're not even. All right. So the boys, they meet up with Garth, and Garth is wearing fatigues in the morgue. That's all I need to say. Classic Garth moment.
Which, like, I didn't get that though. Like, why wasn't he pretending to be an agent with them? Like,
I don't know. He says that he looks good in a uniform.
Yeah, and he said he's
and I think
Agent
he's not
James
wrong.
Brown. Which, did you count that as a pop culture reference?
I did, yes.
I didn't. So I didn't get a lot of the pop culture references. I missed them. All right.
Oh, so Sam and Dean and Garth, they're all together. They learn that these are brothers connected. The 2 kids that are dead, because Garth didn't realize that. And then it's time to investigate. And in the investigation, also Dean's EMF goes off. When going over the body, and this is where Garth is like, mine didn't work. So I counted that as an Is It Bobby moment.
Oh, okay.
That one little blip.
Yeah, that's a good Is It Bobby moment. But so they're like, all their speculation is like, is it a werewolf? It looks like a monster, but it's not Jenny Greentree. Right. All they know is that it's not Jenny Greentree.
Right. It's not a spirit, but it is a monster, and it's not an invisible werewolf. Keeps getting floated, which is hilarious. Great moment. Also, I'd just like to point out the place where the 2 boys was murdered was called Widow's Peak. Wonderful, beautiful, excellent writing. So then it's time to go. They learn Sam learns that the boy's father is one of the proprietors of Thigh Slapper Ale,
which is such a dumb. It's like a
wow.
It's like if Thigh Slapper was the name of a beer from a brew code that had a normal name, if it was like Widow's Peak Brewing Company and the name of one of the brews was Thigh Slapper Ale,
so
then it would be
that
believable.
Is actually what it is.
Oh,
Thigh Slapper Ale is just one of their beers, because there's also Hardhead Stout, I believe is what it was. I wrote it down.
Oh, and Afternoon Delight.
Yes, Afternoon Delight. Hardhead Imperial Stout, Afternoon Delight, and then there was an Amber Ale. I think it was just called Amber Ale. And then I thought there was one more. So yes, there are different names, but Thigh Slapper is the grossest.
I thought, okay,
is
it not a reference to like that's a real knee slapper or thigh slapper because you're laughing so hard?
This is literally what I was thinking about today, like on the drive home, because I was thinking about this recording as I was driving home. Was okay, a knee slapper is like a haha funny joke, but I was like, thigh slapper sounds like something much more
knee slapper wrong.
But then the Amber Ale has like sexy lady as the logo. The Hardhead Imperial Stout logo in the background is like just a bald guy, like an angry looking bald guy.
So you think it's like something gross?
Yeah, because like craft beers always have like, a lot of them have like weirdly or like closely innuendos, like pseudo sexualized names a lot of times. So I think they were trying to go for. I would love to like ask the writers who came up with like all these names. How did you guys land on
It
Thigh
was an
Slapper?
intern.
Why it's not a it was, but at the same time, I don't know. I
It's
enjoyed it for what they
believable.
tried to
Yep.
portray it. Yeah, I'm
So
glad we got
it
into
was
it. I really wanted to get into that name.
so it was 3 guys who were running the brew co together, and they're getting ready to go public, which, as we all know in the beer industry, right, Nate,
Is
is
the brass ring.
but it's also like then people hate you afterwards, like,
Correct. You sold out. You're a sellout.
and then
Yeah.
and now like the big 3 beer people like own all the little beer people, right?
Right.
So
Correct.
2 of them really wanted to sell and they wanted the money.
Dale did not. Dale was like, no way. And the other 2 sold it out from under him. So Dale, benevolent as he was, gave them a gift. We learned through talking to his wife much later on in the episode. We learn all that much later on. However, they yes, they're at the brewery. They learn that there's this like Axeman boss. Baxter is the guy's last name. I just wrote down Baxter, apparently. And he's like, we first see him demoting this janitor to the graveyard shift is the first thing we see, and we learn that he's the hard ass of the team, and it becomes too much for the other guy who owns the company, and he's got to leave when they're interviewing. Whatever. We need to get to the next scene because the next scene is insane. It's the little girl.
Yeah, so
drinking the screwdriver.
The dad. It's okay. He's the dad of those 2 teen boys, or he's the granddad of the little girl and the dad of the woman.
See,
anyway,
this is what I didn't get.
Mama's making herself.
He's the dad to both those guys, both the boys and the granddad to.
No, I think that the other guy was. No, never mind. Forget it. Let's not try and figure it out now. The point is, Mom's having herself a little sipperoo.
A little screwdriver with dinner.
But I'll tell you this, as a mom, you have a little sip with dinner. That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't put your screwdriver that's mixed with orange juice down on the table next to a glass of orange juice for your child.
No.
That you keep yours
However,
on the island and you put theirs on the
if
table.
she had given her more vodka, the child may have seen that thing quicker and saved her life. Whatever. Because Mom gets killed.
Right. And the little girl takes a sip of the vodka and is drunk.
And is wasted.
But then the mom can
Garth after 1 beer wasted.
Yay, Garth after 1 beer wasted. All right, go ahead. I'll stop interrupting. You tell it.
And she so then the mom gets a hand the ghost, or not ghost, the shoujo hand put through her.
Which is,
and
did you think it was,
she sees it at the last second.
Do you think it was kind of lazy that it just looks like a ringu? Like
it looks like the ring girl. Straight up like the ring girl from the ring.
And that felt a little like icky to me because it is a Japanese like ghost, and it's like, oh, they can't all look like the girl from the ring.
Yeah, that was lazy. It felt lazy.
I thought so too.
It was a little disappointing, but cheap TV on CW.
Yep. All right. So that's when we learn.
This is when we learn, basically, as an audience, like, you got to be kind of tipsy to see this thing. And the boys then hear the call to that house. They go to interview the little girl, which is one of the best scenes in the whole episode, because Garth breaks out, Mr. Fizzles. Oh my gosh, all the classic Garth moments. Also, people have started drinking now in the episode, by the way.
Have. You better be, and so that's the when you're drinking the most is when they're drinking.
Yeah. And yeah, so the Mr. Fizzles learns that the girl had a drink, which is why they're like, okay, this leads them then to start the alcohol theory. And I don't know why I didn't look up who the actor's name is who plays Garth. I'm terrible at this.
Well, keep recapping and I'll look it up.
But he's good. Okay. But he's amazing, absolutely killing it. Absolutely kills it as Garth all the time, but like this episode particularly, just love it. And then we get to, and so this is when the boys
This is when they learn.
get back to, yeah, this is when they go back to the hotel and they start doing research, right?
And it turns out that the guy who was the brewmaster used to travel all around. This is what Sam learns. The guy used to travel
Correct.
all around and get all these exotic flavors to be a brewmaster, and he brought home this bottle that had a shoju inside of it, which would
Right.
kill anyone who drank from it, or he cursed it to kill their kids, because I guess he thought the brew company was his baby, so they killed it, so he would kill
And
their
then,
babies. Which,
right,
like,
so he's
what a
gonna kill
fucking
in
dick that guy
return.
was.
Yeah, no one seems like a good guy in this. This is one the boys maybe should have just left alone, frankly.
Well, no, because it's
And
gonna kill that
everything
little
would have
girl.
been all right.
But so they also
I guess,
realized
yeah.
that the janitor, when we didn't necessarily just put the little girl in danger or whatever. But anyway, the janitor is like the secret son of one of the
Right.
guys, so they have to go back to the brew place and get a little drunk so that they can fight the shoju.
Yes. This is after they like break into the man's office and get drunk to watch the security footage to see who like opened the bottle. And when we find out it was like one of the sons just like went in and cracked it open. Like it wasn't even one of these guys. They probably would have just left that bottle sitting there forever. It was one of the dumbass kids that went and cracked it open to start and let this thing out. So yeah, just love that all around. But that scene where Dean and Sam and Dean are drinking in the guy's office and he walks in and then Garth tases him.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And that's when then Garth learns about the whole secret son when the guy's tied up in the bathtub. Oh yeah, just a great sequence all around, those two scenes back to back. So we learn that the boys go to the brewery then, and the guy is cleaning up and is about to get killed by the monster. But first, Garth shows up because Garth is the one who learned all this info first, and he like grabs a bunch of mini bottles out of the fridge and gets going. Garth doing a little drinking and driving. Sammy takes a taxi, which is like, awesome.
That's such a Sam thing. He would be so absolutely responsible.
Takes the taxi. It's the old man. It's you're getting like planes, trains, and automobiles vibes. Absolutely.
There is a funny moment where Sam is like, "Can you even get drunk anymore? Like, isn't it
like a vitamin for you?" He says. Yeah. And then I love that the Dean does get drunk and he's like, "Me like you." I'm like this expensive, what looks like probably tequila.
Dean is pretty funny in this episode. This is a episode.
Yeah.
You were right to choose it.
Good Dean episode, good Sam. So yeah, the boys killed. Dean ends up killing the shoujo. We didn't even talk about the like random Japanese chef.
I know
who the boys go to for all the translations and the like pouring a water bottle over the samurai sword as to represent the babbling brook or the stream or whatever. Oh, so good.
But it's not like I don't know.
But it's not good. I don't. But okay, here's the thing. But think about it. Think about it. If you're in Junction City, Kansas, where are you gonna go? Like it's like maybe the local community college.
I also did not like one of the pop culture references I did catch and write down is that he says, "Slow down, Tara Reid," and it's like, hey, you know what?
Leave that is her alone. Down.
You like that felt like punching down to me. Like somebody's problem shouldn't be your.
But it was 2007.
I know, but I didn't
punching
like
down was the thing people.
Okay,
did.
So did we hit the end?
We're basically at the end. The boys slay the monster.
No, there's a really important part of the end that we didn't say.
Well, we didn't get to the end.
Go for it.
You also a pop culture reference. Garth bursts in the door and says to the janitor, "Come with me if you want to live." I love it. So we do have an "Is it Bobby" moment at the end in the fight scene because there's the blade samurai sword whooshes into Dean's hand.
Yep.
And he doesn't know what pushed it. So he has this whole moment by himself of like, is Bobby there? Bobby, you there?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the end where, yeah, the boys talk about it. Talk about Bobby. We have flashbacks to like previous episodes of there was like a beer that disappeared in a previous episode. A book falls open to an exact page.
Mm-hmm.
The card falls out of a guy that we find cast, and like all this stuff. And they're like, "Is Bobby around?" And then it's revealed,
He is.
yes, he is, and that's when you can take your Bobby shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to get them to see him, and they can't. And Sam, Dean really wants to believe, so that's why he's bringing the flask along with him wherever they go, which is what's dragging Bobby along.
Which is what it is, yes.
And Sam is really the one who's like, that's not what it is. So I have a feeling that even though I counted 31 drinks, I think I didn't get a lot of the ones you got.
31 total.
31 total drinks.
Okay.
So you tell me your counts for all the rules.
Okay. All right. So for anyone drinks, I have 19.
Oh, I got 6.
Really?
I'm not very good at counting the drinks.
That was a hard one. You get to a certain point, because like in the scene in the hotel, the first scene where like the boys are drinking, right? Because I think the first scene where anyone drinks is the little girl.
But I didn't count it every time. No, Garth drinks they drink the beer in the hotel before that. Garth
beer before they talk to the girl. Okay, yeah.
So I just counted it as like, okay, they're drinking one time.
They're drinking as one.
I didn't count every time someone drinks.
I counted like Sam takes a drink right away.
And
then Dean took a drink.
No, I did not do that.
Sam takes a drink in the background. Then they pretty much focus on Garth, and that's where you can chug along with Garth. But I didn't count that as anyone.
I think I counted drinking scenes
for Garth. Okay. Then that's probably
I got accurate. 10 classic Garths.
See, I only counted 8 classic Garths.
Okay. I was giving him some extra.
But you counted each thing in the
then. There was 5.
And I counted it as 1.
Okay. I got 6 drinks for people who die because we knew all their names.
Same.
3. I got only 3 pop culture references.
Okay. So you have the James Brown one. I did not write down. So there's one that I didn't write down. Reid. There's the Tara Reid. There's a Top Gun reference. I think right when they walk in, and he's in the fatigues. I think they say something like, "Why? What's with the Top Gun?" or something like that. And then "Come with me if you want to live." And then instant Swayze at the end when he's talking about, he's like, "Oh, but who knows better about being a ghost than Bobby? Instant Swayze." And then 3 Belle Biv DeVoe's.
Man, yeah, I'm really bad at counting the drinking game rules. That is my weakness. And I got 4. Is it Bobby's?
I got 7.
Jesus Christ, I'm bad at this. Okay, are you ready for a game?
Yes, I'm ready for a game.
Well, okay, so this is a really good episode. I love Garth. I like the Monster of the Week aspect of it. I like it. Like, for me, you gotta have a Monster of the Week because you need to breathe in between all of like the heavy myth arc stuff.
Yes. I do want to say, sorry, I just saw this note at the bottom of my page. The like slogan, I think, for the brewery is, because it says this on multiple of one of the beers, is "Get your party on." I had to say that. It's called Party On Garth.
Oh,
they
yay.
Put that in there.
I didn't notice.
Get your party on is the slogan for the brewery. Anyway, yes, it's an awesome Monster of the Week. You couldn't ask for anything better or more, or like it's entertaining. I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and I'm not sick of it. I'm not sick of it.
Okay, so here's your game. I'm going to ask. Okay. I'm going to give you 15 really oversimplified plot summaries, and you have to tell me if it happened on Buffy, Supernatural, X-Files, or some combination of those.
Okay.
All right.
That's great because there's this episode reminds me of episodes. Actually, a Simpsons episode.
Oh,
too,
yeah. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Turns out they're in the Bermuda Triangle. Question 1. Turns out they're in the Bermuda Triangle.
That's oh man, that's got to be X-Files.
It is X-Files Triangle. All right, you're 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Turns out it's the Wizard of Oz.
Turns out they're in Wizard of Oz.
Or just it's the Wizard of Oz.
It's the Wizard of Oz. That's a Scrubs episode. But this is Supernatural for sure.
Yep. Supernatural Slumber Party.
Yes.
The episode takes place, or the scary thing takes place at a carnival or fair.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be both. Man, this might be all 3, but it's for sure both Supernatural and X-Files. I'm not as good with Buffy.
Well, you're right. It's Supernatural and X-Files. Humbug
Supernatural and
X-Files. Everyone Loves a Cloud. You're killing it.
The X-Files one is
Humbug.
It stays with you. Actually, both of them, frankly, both the Supernatural and X-Files one kind of stay with you.
Because it's a deep-seated fear that we all have.
Carnivals of Clowns.
Musical episode.
Buffy and no, Supernatural never did one. I don't remember an X-Files one, so just Buffy.
Supernatural did one.
What was the music? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Of course it is fan fiction. So my instinct was right. It was Supernatural. I guess that is it's not. It's a musical episode, but like not in the same
way that the characters are singing, but
like I think of being like full on Scrubs or Buffy, how like everyone sings their motive and everything. Anyway, so but yes, of course it's one of that's probably spoilers, y'all. An episode that might happen this season because I know that's way up
what
there
we're doing
both
next.
Of our favorite. That's what we're doing next. Yeah.
Question number 5: a fully silent episode. Well, not fully, but mostly silent episode.
Ooh. Silent, huh? I'm just gonna say
you
Buffy
got it. No, man. Yeah. I was gonna. It's just Buffy.
Just Buffy.
The episode is called Hush.
I didn't think there was an X-Files.
It's one of the best episodes. Okay.
Buffy's. I'm gonna start watching.
It's great.
Once I get through Gilmore Girls, Buffy is great. Coming up.
Question number 6: God messes with you.
I mean, that's every episode of Supernatural. True. So obviously that one. X-Files, that's more of an ethereal question, I feel like, of the whole series. God messes with you. So maybe Buffy and Supernatural.
Ooh,
but
sorry.
I don't remember a God character in Buffy at all.
Nope, there's not. So it is X-Files and Supernatural. The episode of the X-Files, it is Burt Reynolds as God. It's called Improbable.
Is that like a season 8 or 9 episode? That sounds like
okay.
One Nate might have not seen because he gave up watching it at the same time everyone else did.
Question number 7: a haunted room that makes you have sex.
What? That makes you have
sex till you die. It sucks all of your energy out.
That's a Supernatural? Not Supernatural. That's a X-Files.
That's a Buffy episode.
Okay.
It's called Where the Wild Things Are.
Whedon, yeah. Is that a Spike episode?
No, it's a Riley episode. Question number 8: turns out you're in a video game.
Ooh. Turns out you're in a video game. Buffy?
Nope, it's actually X-Files and Supernatural. The X-Files episode is called First Person Shooter, and the Supernatural episode is called Pac-Man Fever.
Wow, I do not remember that episode at all. What season is that? Wait, what?
All right, question number 9. Your nightmares are coming true.
Holy cow.
Turns out someone's nightmares are coming true.
Oh, it's for sure. Oh, that's Supernatural and X-File. That could be all three.
It's
But I'm gonna say
Supernatural and Buffy.
Supernatural and Buffy. Okay.
But good guess. Question number 10. Turns out it's a baseball-loving alien.
X-Files.
Correct. You're back on track. Question 11. Haunted cosplay. Hollywood objects and costumes come to life.
Buffy.
Buffy and Supernatural. Hollywood Babylon is cursed objects from Hollywood.
Oh, yes, of course.
And Buffy, the Halloween episode, all their costumes take them over.
Yep.
Question number 12.
Great episode.
There's a lottery or auction for body parts.
All three.
Oh, good guess, but it's actually Supernatural and X-Files. Supernatural episode is called Breakdown, and it's one of the scarier ones. And the X-Files is called Hell Money. In the X-Files one, they're gambling their body parts. And in the Supernatural one, Sammy's being auctioned. Yeah. So creepy. Question number 13. Turns out it was a movie plot.
Supernatural and Buffy.
Supernatural and X-Files.
X-Files.
Yeah, it was called Hollywood AD, and it was one of the later episodes.
Yeah. If you get into the post-movie X-Files episodes,
things get weird.
Fuzzier.
Although the Camille Nanjiani Reese Darby episode is worth watching.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, I watched that season.
I watched that.
Even though on the original run is the stuff I'm a little fuzzy on the back end of.
Question number 14. You will dance until you die.
Oh gosh, that's for Supernatural and X-Files and Buffy. No, because there's a Buffy episode where they have to dance, right? Yes, so it's
Buffy. Yay!
But it's just Buffy. Okay, just Buffy.
And the last question, number 15, had an episode banned from TV.
Probably X-Files.
It was the X-Files, the episode called Home.
Home? Yeah, Home.
Okay.
I already knew what episode it was.
Okay.
It's terrifying,
it is so scary.
everyone. I cannot believe they showed it ever.
So scary.
It's more scary than any horror movie I've seen. Yeah. It lives with me to this day.
Okay. So are you ready for your assignment for next week? Or next 2 weeks? Next time? Are you ready for your assignment for next time?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. And we are all going to watch season 10, episode 5, Fan Fiction.
Woo-hoo.
And here are your drinking game rules.
Oh, I got to write them down. Oh, no. I'll type them.
Okay, rule number 1. Acting. If you can really see that someone is trying to act like they're acting, take a drink. The next rule is theater. Whenever they make reference to something that is just too theatery, take a drink. We are playing again if someone dies and if you know their name. And because this episode, Fan Fiction, season 10, episode 5, it's the 200th episode of this show. They go through all of the title cards of their special episodes. So they do the Western one, they do the Christmas one, they do the X-Files one. They do all of their special title cards. So drink through the whole title cards. You know that thing where you start drinking and you don't stop until they're all done. Drink when the boys are wearing suits. Just one drink for any scene where they're wearing suits. We are employing the Sammy rule. If anyone calls him Sammy, then you have to go, Sammy! And take a drink. Take a drink for any mention of Destiel. Take a drink for a monster reveal. And there are 3 shots that are all, okay. Shot number 1 for an X-Files reference. Shot number 2 for the phrase, gird your loins, which is one of my favorite phrases. And shot number 3, ghost facers. So if you're following along with the rules, you're going to take at least 3 shots and about 20 drinks. So make sure you know how you're getting home.
Yeah, right. Dang.
And that is next time on my episode of It Might Be My Favorite. So at the end of this episode, we're going to give you some excellent drinking game rules, and we're going to let you know which episode is my favorite for sure and which episode is Nate's favorite for sure. So thank you so much, everybody, for playing along with us as we tipsily recap and enjoy our supernatural with you. We are excited to be moving over to True Story FM. We'll talk more about that next time. But please rate, review, do all the things that help with people finding us. We just do this for fun. So the more people who find us, the better off we'll be. And when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, the family business.
The family business.
Keep the Gank That Drink podcast motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on.
Party on,
Garth.
dude. Garth. Oh, I should have. Why didn't I think of it? Party on, Garth.